us all the reasons why you can make the argument under international law that Israel has the right to be in the West Bank. I can tell you the most legal scholars around the world don't agree with that, and the overwhelming sentiment around the world is that Israel's presence in the West Bank is illegal. I don't really go that far, but I do think that if you look at what's in Israel's best interest, which is what I really care about, that Israel's best interest is not to enmesh Jewish and Palestinian populations to such an extent that it's impossible to separate the two. Because if you look at the demographics of this part of the world, the birth rate among Arabs is higher than it is among Jews. And ultimately, if things simply stay the way they are, and ultimately the West Bank were to be annexed, along with the Gaza Strip, or whatever happens there, you would not have a Jewish state anymore. You would have a state with such a large Arab minority then it would no longer be the Israel that the Jewish people were yearning for. And so my feeling is that the settlement policy, by entwining the two populations, was simply a mistake. There may be some settlements, such as the area around Gush Etzion, that could easily be incorporated into Israel, and Israeli governments, even up until recently, have actually proposed to the Palestinians that a land swap be made, so that Gush Etzion might become part of Israel, and the land in the Negev, for example, might be attached to the Gaza Strip, so that the Palestinians would be compensated for the land that would be taken in the West Bank. Marcy's settlement is a little bit more problematic because it's further from the 67 border than Gush Etzion is. But there are ways of drawing it so that Marcy could become part of Israel too.
On the government website, there is a map where we are drawn in, they call it an X finger, where the Ariel block is, where Ariel is drawn in. We're drawn in along with the finger that reaches all the way up to Kadumim and back, with a little itty-bitty narrow road that would connect us. We are outside the security fence right now. And you guys have driven along it. You've seen part fence, part wall. Yeah. I'm near Kalkilia, which has been in the news a lot lately. We're a 2-minute drive to the fence. We are a 10-minute drive to Kfar Saba. When you stand on one of the hills in our community, you can see Tel Aviv. You can see everything. Strategically, we are incredibly well placed, and it would actually be a shame to see Palestinians have that area. Again, in talking about evacuating settlements and things, to do so without some kind of plan in place, some kind of promise from the Palestinians, some kind of Palestinian unity, so that we know that if they agree on a peace settlement, that there's actually going to be one, is ludicrous. We actually purchased a home in Carnation, Rome 3 years ago. We had held off because it kept sounding like peace was imminent and giving back land was imminent. Finally, my sister-in-law, who lived there almost since the founding of the community 30 years ago, said to me, I have been here 30 years. Every year,